The main experience I went through was, facing my own struggles growing up as a teenager, having a gun placed to my head at an early age at 16 years old, in a very simple incident, being a drug dealer, being a pimp, just seeing all the things that the streets brought. My father was died suddenly, at the age of 33 years old. I was only 6 years old at the time he died. So I didn't have a lot of a lot of male guidance growing up. So I had to experience a lot of things on my own and just, going through life and seeing things from my own, having my own perspective. And, I noticed that, there was a racial divide. Once I graduated high school, it wasn't like that in high school, but once I graduated high school, it was like everybody had to pick a side, either you was on the black side or the white side. And when I saw Trayvon Martin incident, that's what really truly inspired me to become active because I had realized that America had an MO that they changed. That we were no longer being lynched and hung. Now we were being shot, and it was now called justifiable homicide. And the end result was the same at the end of the day. There was still a young, innocent person laying there dead, by the hands of, a state-sanctioned police officer, and it seemed that we were powerless behind it, and so that made me want to get involved. And I felt like I would be less than a man if I did not. I started off at first doing poetry, actually. I would say things like Psalms 83 verse 4 says, "Come, let us cut off the chosen people from being a nation, so their name would no longer be remembered. Negroes, colored, blacks, African Americans. Who are we again? I can't even remember." And so I was just doing conscious poetry in the community, and the Black Panthers actually heard me, and they started recruiting me. And I had became politically conscious by this time. I had read an autobiography by Malcolm X, and it awakened my political conscience. And I realized that as a people, we didn't have a political say-so about our destiny, what was going on in this country. Everything was pretty much laid out, handed to us, and so I was seeking a political organization for our people, for the descendants of African slaves here in America. And I got on a conference call with an organization by the name of the New Black Panther Party. And they pretty much let me know that they were a political organization. They told me there was the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, and you have the New Black Panther Party. And so I decided to join the organization because my political views and ideology lined up with the organization. And that's how I got involved. I'm spiritually grounded. That is the main thing. And it's a calling on my life. So it was something that I was called to do. And so that's where I get my strength from. I get my strength from the Most High. That is my source. That is my base. While everybody else was, probably out clubbing or, sowing into carnal things, I was sowing into spiritual things. And so I've reaped the spiritual things. And so, strength, patience, spirituality, being able to stand on a solid rock, not being shaken by everything that happens in the world, to us every single day because we go through so many things. But and having a strong support system, people around me in the organization as well. They make the same sacrifices, and we make monetary sacrifices, and we really help and support each other. And just being stable in my everyday life, stability is very important. So I'm very stable in my lifestyle that I live every day. I keep it simple. I don't do drinking and going out and so on and so forth. It's just constant work, and the reward at the end of the day is seeing the gratification of the people that we serve. Our own people. That is the biggest challenge I run into. Our people have been trained. They don't know that they've been trained. It's kind of like when you go to the circus and you see a lion jumping through hoops at the cage. That lion is not acting as a normal lion would act. That lion is only acting that way because it was born into captivity. If we put a normal a lion from the wilds of Africa in that same situation, the results would be totally different. I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas, out of Studewood. Shout out to the Studewood out
All right, all right, all right, all right. So where you go to high school?
I end up going to high school. My mother moved me out of Studewood and ended up taking me to Spring Branch. So I graduated from Northbrook High School. And Northbrook High School, my mother thought she was doing a good job getting me to a diverse community, bless her heart. But unfortunately, that's where I discovered crack cocaine in Spring Branch. And what I discovered at that time was that drugs were everywhere, but nobody in these diverse neighborhoods, were being stopped for drugs, pulled over, searched, harassed on side of the road. To this very day, I'm 49 years old. I've been living in this city my entire life, besides a small stint up at the University of Arkansas. To this day, I have never seen a white couple, white individual being pulled over on side of the road with their trunk up being searched to this day. And me and a friend of mine I was in the ninth grade. I never forget the day. Me and a friend of mine were walking to Dairy Queen, and I had my $5 in my pocket for my full meal deal. He was a junior in high school, and we get to the counter, and I pull my $5 out, and he told me, "Man, put that up. I got it." So he pulled out a knot of 20s. And we're in high school, and I'm looking at him like I'm asking, "What in the hell is going on? What are you doing?" He said, "I'm selling crack." So I asked him, "What is crack and where do I get me some from?" And that was my introduction to crack cocaine.